Today I've got 6 awesome meal ideas for you guys. These are just family dinners that I've made here at home for my family, as well as a couple lunches and some ideas to repurpose leftovers. Lots of good stuff in today's video, so let's get started. So the first meal that I'm going to share was a dinner that I kind of just made out of things that were in my fridge and freezer and pantry. I was craving baked potatoes, so I'm going to go ahead and wash up some russet potatoes. I always try to keep a bag of these in my pantry because you can do so many things with potatoes, right? But honestly, baked potatoes are a family favorite, and it's something that I can always either make as a meal or on the side of the meal, and everyone loves it. So once my potatoes were washed and dried, I just lined a baking sheet with some foil, and I'm going to place the potatoes on there. I like to drizzle them with just a little bit of olive oil, and then I sprinkle them with kosher salt and just kind of turn them over to make sure that the potatoes are evenly coated. This is optional, but I think that it gives the skin a lot more flavor and is crispier, and my kids even will just eat the potato skin like this. They like it and has more fiber and nutrients in it, so win-win, right? And then I'm just going to pop these into the oven. I normally cook potatoes at either 400 or 425 for about an hour, depending on what else I have in the oven at the time. And do make sure that you poke your potatoes as well. Some people have said that they don't poke theirs and they've never exploded, but I have tried it without poking them before, and I have had a potato explode in my oven one time. So just my opinion there. I had some hoagie rolls that I wanted to get used up before I either had to freeze them or they would go moldy. So I decided to go ahead and make some garlic bread. I have some melted butter in a measuring cup there that I just nuked in the microwave, and then I'm just going to crush some garlic in there. This is a super easy way to make garlic bread. If you've got day-old bread lying around, everyone loves it. So just crush the fresh garlic in, and then I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. And I had some fresh parsley in the refrigerator, so I went ahead and chopped that up and added it as well. It does give it a really nice flavor, but if that's something that you don't have on hand, don't worry about that. You can also use dried parsley, or you can just leave it out. So here are the French rolls. I actually got these from Aldi and they are quite good. So I'm just going to split these in half and lay them on the baking sheet. I just have my baking sheet lined with parchment paper because some of the butter will kind of drip down onto the sheet. You just want to make sure that that doesn't burn in the oven. So I just have a pastry brush here, and I'm just brushing that butter mixture on evenly to all of the pieces of bread. Okay, so here is some steak that I got in, I believe, my Hungry Root box. This is just some beef tenderloin that is cut up into tips, and I put it out here on a cutting board. I'm just drizzling it with a little bit of olive oil and adding some of this Kinder seasoning, which is just salt, pepper, and garlic. It's really good. And then I preheated my stainless skillet with some avocado oil, really hot, and I'm just adding the steak bites to that. And I'll just sear these for probably about 3 to 4 minutes on each side and then let them rest, and that will probably be about medium to medium well. So we're gonna go ahead and fix a plate. Did I have vegetables with this meal? I don't know. That's a good question. Does a potato count as a vegetable? I'm pretty sure I was just over it on this day. I was just trying to get food on the table for everyone to eat. Like, sometimes that's all we can do. Okay, so I'm gonna put some butter and salt on this baked potato. You can see that it's super hot. I'm also gonna add some ground pepper, and then I did shred up some Colby Jack cheese, so I'm gonna add that to the top as well. I always love sour cream on my baked potatoes, so I'm gonna add some of that, and then I did have some green onions already sliced in the fridge, so super convenient there. I just sprinkled those on. So yes, no vegetable. We're gonna consider the potato the vegetable here. Okay, and I also heated up some coconut shrimp in the air fryer that I got from Aldi, and that was our quick dinner tonight. I want to take a quick break and thank today's video sponsor, Storyworth. I have worked with Storyworth several times here on my channel, and honestly, I would work with them every month if I could because I love telling you guys about their service. If you're not familiar with them, they are an online service that helps you and your loved ones connect through sharing stories and memories and preserves them for years to come. So what happens is every week, Storyworth will email like whoever you gift this to, I am going to go ahead and suggest that this be a great Mother's Day present now that Mother's Day is coming up here very soon. So for example, if you would get this for your mom, every week Storyworth would email your mom with a thought-provoking question of your choice from a vast pool of possible options. Each unique prompt asks questions you've never thought of, like what's some of the best advice your mother ever gave you, or if you were to do it all over, what would you do differently? So what's really cool is after 1 year, Storyworth will compile all of these questions and stories, and they will also include any photos that you'd like to include into a beautiful keepsake book that your family can share for generations. If you guys have been following me for a while, you probably know that I have been a scrapbooker for a long time. I actually started scrapbooking, I think it was the year before I got married, so like in 2005. And one of the most common arguments that I always heard from people about scrapbooking is like, I'm not, creative. I don't know how to use all of the tools, etc. And so Storyworth is basically kind of like a scrapbook, except it's just with words and photos. So it makes it super approachable and super easy for really anyone to use. I think it's great that we can learn new things about our mothers or really anyone that we gift this to. Sometimes you will be really surprised by the stories that they share, and maybe it will even unlock some of those old memories to you that are in the recesses of your brain. I personally have done this before for my kids. So I purchased it and had the email prompts emailed to me, and then I would type out the answers and, have them bound into a book. And that's something I can give to my kids someday. It will be super interesting for them. So if you guys want to try out Storyworth, like I said, it makes a great Mother's Day gift. You can go to storyworth.com/Jen Chapin and you can save $10 on your first purchase. Once again, it's storyworth.com/Jen Chapin and you can save $10 on your first purchase. Definitely check that link out. You will not regret it. It is awesome. Okay, so the next meal that I'm sharing with you guys is actually something I made for lunch, but you could make it for dinner as well. This is a bag of the Tyson blackened chicken breast strips, and I know these can sometimes be hard to find, although if I can find them in my town, I feel like probably in larger towns you should be able to find them in the freezer section, but I like to cook these in the air fryer, and then I'm going to wash some cilantro. Basically, we are going to make a quick bagged salad with these chicken tenders, which is a great idea if you are looking for something, like I said, super quick for lunch. I also posted this over on my Instagram and as a YouTube short. I have been posting a lot more on Instagram, more videos and more reels. And so if you guys want to go ahead and go over there and follow me, I would love to connect with you there as well. You can just go to Jen Chapin on Instagram. So with my cilantro, I'm just going to go ahead and dry that in my salad spinner. This would have been quicker if I would have already had it prepped, but alas, I did not. I do really like the flavor that the cilantro gives to the chopped salad, so I like to add that. We're going to be using a chopped salad kit, a Southwest salad kit that I got from Aldi. Okay, so I added my salad mix to the bowl, and then I added my chopped cilantro on top of that. I'm going to add the cheese that comes with the kit and the dressing. This is like sort of like a taco ranch or like a Chipotle yogurt ranch dressing. It's really good. And then I'm going to go ahead and give that a toss. I know someone is going to ask me where I got my shirt. I'll try to link it down below if I can find it. It's from Torrid. So once the chicken is done in the air fryer, I'm just going to put that back on the cutting board and chop it into really small pieces. I just find it's easier to eat this way. And then I'm going to top my salad with the tortilla strips that came with it and add the chicken on top. And like I said, you could do this with any salad kit, super quick and easy, but here is the finished result. So we have the Southwest salad with the cilantro added and the tortilla strips, cheese, blackened chicken tenders, and I put a probiotic soda on the side, and this was a delicious lunch. The next dinner that I'm going to show you is something that I have showed here before on my channel, but I'm always having new people join, and it's always good to review some new ways to make things that I've made before. So here we go. So I have some chicken breast here. I'm actually going to do some sort of like a Greek inspired or Mediterranean inspired grilled chicken, and we're also going to make some falafel, and we had some tzatziki and pita bread and all kinds of good stuff. So I just have some chicken breasts here. I am seasoning those with some salt and some pepper and a little bit of garlic powder, and then I like to add some lemon juice and lemon zest to those. I think it gives it a really fresh flavor. If you don't have a microplane grater for citrus zest, I would definitely recommend it. I'll link the one I have down below. They're pretty inexpensive. You can get them on on Amazon. Once those are seasoned on the first side, I'm just going to give them a flip and season on the other side. And then I'll go ahead and add my lemon juice as well. And then I just let those sit at room temperature for about 15 minutes until I cook them. You can also marinate them in the refrigerator for longer if you'd like to. Just be careful with the lemon juice. You probably don't want to marinate it much longer than 12 hours because it will start to cook the meat a little bit. I know that sounds weird, but if you've ever made ceviche, it's kind of like that. So I have some foil here. I'm just going to put my pita bread in that. I like to warm either flatbreads or pita up in the oven this way. So just take your pita out of the package, leave it stacked up, add it to the middle of your foil, wrap it up like a baby pita, and then you could throw this in like a 400-degree oven for probably about 15 to 20 minutes or until everything is heated through. Sort of my vision for this meal was to kind of just lay everything out on a big platter and have the pitas along with the falafel and the chicken, and I'm gonna make some couscous also, and just have everyone at the table be able to take what they want and kind of build their plate the way they would like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice up some cucumber. This is a seedless English cucumber, which are my favorite. I'm going to add that to the platter. Next, I'm going to cut up some tomatoes. These tomatoes were rather questionable looking, but I tried to salvage them the best that I could. I'm going to go ahead and cut up some feta cheese. I love feta cheese, and actually it's kind of surprised me because I had all of this set out on the table for us to eat dinner, and my kids actually tried some feta, and Kira was like, this is okay. Connor tried it and really liked it. So sometimes I get questions about like picky eaters and stuff like that. You know, I don't really force my kids to eat things if they don't like them, but I do encourage them over and over again to try things. I think that sometimes just exposing them to new foods over and over again, especially for toddlers, you know, they're kind of scared to try new foods. Obviously, it's like their brain trying to protect them. But the more you can just offer it to them, you know, you never know. One of these days they might they might try it. Okay, so for the falafel, I actually used this falafel mix from Trader Joe's that I had in my pantry that I never used before. And earlier in the day, I went ahead and mixed this with some water as per the package directions, and I just stuck it in the fridge to basically come together. And this was super easy and convenient and delicious. I would definitely recommend it if you've never tried it before. So I'm just taking a little cookie scoop and scooping the falafel mixture out into little balls, and then I'm just kind of flattening those with my hand. And I have a skillet on the side there, I'll show you here in a minute, with some olive oil in the bottom, and I'm just cooking these in the oil on either side until they are golden brown. Okay, so here is my chicken. I went ahead and I'm just searing that on both sides in a stainless skillet. I did use my splatter guard to make sure that I'm not making a huge mess, and after that's done, I'll just let it sit covered until it is cooked through. Here is my little falafel balls. I'm gonna go ahead and give those a flip. If you've never made this before, it's delicious. Try it. I love falafel. You can buy it pre-made sometimes in the freezer section, but I would definitely recommend this mix from Trader Joe's. Like I said, this is my first time trying it, and I was really impressed at how good it was. Once these are cooked through or golden brown on both sides, I just remove them to a tray that is lined with a paper towel. And while they're hot, you just want to season them with a little bit of salt. Okay, so for my couscous, I'm making kind of like a lemon garlic couscous. I'll link the recipe that I used down below. In my pan, I just have some olive oil sauteing with some garlic. I added some chicken broth along with some lemon zest and some lemon juice, and I'm just measuring out 2 cups of couscous. And if you've never cooked couscous, it's super easy. It looks like rice, but it's actually pasta. And you just boil your liquid, turn the heat off, add the couscous, give it a stir, put the lid on, and let it sit for about 5 minutes, and you have perfectly fluffy cooked couscous. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling my platter. I've got some cucumber on here with my parsley and some other veggies. I went ahead and added the falafel to that. Here are the pita breads that I warmed up in the oven. I'm just going to cut those, some of them into halves and some of them into quarters, and put them back in the foil to stay warm. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my chicken. Bonus points if you can see Murphy's nose peeking up over the counter. I also had a few leftover pork chops in the refrigerator that I heated up as well, just for some extra protein. I wanted to have leftovers because I'm going to show you how I'm going to repurpose these for lunch the next day. But I just sliced up this chicken and put it back on the plate and let it rest with some of the juices. Here is a look at the couscous. I'm just going to kind of pick out some of the larger pieces of garlic and give that a fluff. For this recipe, I would say it was a little bit bland, so definitely add more salt and pepper and seasonings if you're going to make it, but I think it's a great side for a dinner like this. So I'm going to go ahead and put my couscous into a big bowl. Now that swim season is over, of course, soccer season has started, so we don't always get to eat dinner at the table, but I try to do it any night that we can, that we don't have sports practice and everyone can eat together. I just find that taking, 30 minutes out of your day to have family dinner around the table is really awesome, and the kids love it. They get to talk about their day, and it's just a time to connect with everyone. So I'm going to drizzle this couscous with a little bit of olive oil and season it with a little bit of extra salt. Here was our dinner for this evening. I have the grilled chicken and pork chops, the lemon garlic couscous, falafel, veggies, feta, tzatziki sauce, pita, and some hummus. And this was my plate. I had the couscous with some tzatziki and chicken, and I stuffed my falafel in a pita and had some cucumbers on the side. Everyone loved this. It was a home run for dinner that night. So now I want to show you how I repurposed some of these leftovers for my lunch the next day. I decided I would make a Greek salad. So there was actually enough leftovers for Adam and I both to have for lunch the next day. So I packed his up and sent him to work, but I'm going to have mine on a salad. So I have some romaine lettuce here. I'm just adding that to a bowl, and then I'm adding some of the chopped feta, the leftover cucumbers, and some of the leftover chicken into my salad. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some croutons. I didn't have any Greek vinaigrette, but I did have some Olive Garden dressing in the refrigerator that I'm trying to use up. So I went ahead and used that. I know, not super authentic, but whatever, it still works. I'm also going to add a little bit of hummus to the side of the bowl, along with a few of the pita wedges that I warmed back up in the microwave. And this was my lunch today. Turned out so good. Just an idea of how you can repurpose leftovers for a great lunch the next day. I had this and it was delicious. Okay, so tonight is Friday and we are having some family over tonight to do a big steak dinner. So I'm gonna put the steaks in the sous vide. My stepdad actually brought these over earlier this week, a couple days ago. They are just like huge T-bone steaks that he got from the butcher. And I'm seasoning them with this Kinder's The Blend. It's salt, pepper, and garlic powder. My sister actually gave this to me because she got a 2-pack from Sam's Club, I think. So I'm just sealing these individually in vacuum bags, and then I'll put them in the sous vide. This is the vacuum sealer I have. It's a food saver. I got this at Sam's Club. It was like 40% off, I think, around Christmas time. It was a huge deal. There's different ways to do this. I am putting a little bit of rosemary in there. I was going to put some garlic cloves, like some crushed garlic cloves, but since this already has garlic in it, I decided to just do the seasoning and the rosemary. Okay, so I got all of my steaks in there. I would say that's probably the most that this is gonna fit. And I set this at 129.5, and this will cook for about 2 hours. And then when Adam gets home, he's gonna go ahead and sear these on the Blackstone, but they'll be cooked through perfectly. If you've never used a sous vide before, it will like hold the meat at whatever temperature you cook it at, so it won't be overcooked, and then it will be perfectly like uniformly cooked through to whatever temperature you choose, like medium, medium rare, whatever. For a side, I decided to make some buffalo chicken dip because I had all of the ingredients for it and I didn't want to go to the grocery store, and plus it is a real crowd pleaser for an appetizer. So I have some cream cheese that I softened. I'm just adding that to my mixer and whipping that up. I can link this recipe down below, although I'm sure you guys are super familiar with it. I know it's very popular. I'm going to add about a half a cup of Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce. You can use any kind that you have on hand, and just make sure that the cream cheese is at room temperature. That's what really helps everything kind of mix together without being lumpy. gravy. Next, I'm going to add a half a cup of ranch dressing. You could also add blue cheese dressing if you wanted to, but there are some people in my family that don't like blue cheese, so I leave that out. I'm also going to add some shredded cheese. So I'm going to do a combination of regular cheddar and pepper jack just because that's what I have on hand. Colby Jack or cheddar works really well. Next, I'm going to add a cup of rotisserie chicken that I shredded up, and then I'm just going to give that a mix, and that's it. Super simple. You can cook this in a crock pot, which I've done many times, but today I'm going to go ahead and bake it. So I just have an 8x8 dish here. I'm going to put the mixture into that and spread it into an even layer. This is actually a great keto dip as well if you're doing keto or low carb, because you can have it with veggie sticks. So like celery and cucumber and carrots. It's really good. Normally I serve it with tortilla chips, or you can also use chicken and a biscuit crackers, which Adam really likes. I think it's kind of an odd combination, but if you like chicken and biscuit crackers, that works as well. And then I'm going to add some extra cheese to the top and just put that into the oven. I think I cooked this at, 375 for about 30 minutes, just basically until it is hot and bubbly. Okay, so I'm trying to get through some of the stuff in my pantry. And like I said, since I didn't want to go to the grocery store, I thought, what can I make for dessert? And I thought the kids would like some cupcakes. So that's what I'm going to do. So I just have my mixer bowl here. I'm going to add some eggs into there, and then I'm going to also add some water and some oil and just a yellow cake mix that I had on hand in my pantry. I like to mix my wet ingredients together and make sure those are combined before I add the cake mix, just so I can make sure that everything combines really well. Obviously, if you don't have a stand mixer, you don't have to make your cake in a stand mixer. You can make it just with a regular whisk or with a hand mixer as well. I find it just as easy to use my mixer because I can easily get it out on the counter from my appliance garage. So once again, baking with Jen. Here we are using the old Christmas cupcake liners because I have so many. I need to get through them. Who cares? It's cupcake liner. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas in April. So I'm just going to line my cupcake tins with these. And I can never do this part without making a mess. So I'm just going to use an ice cream scoop to ladle out my batter evenly into these. I believe this box made like 18 cupcakes. I think it says it's supposed to make 24. I can never get 24 out of it. Maybe I fill my cupcakes too much. I'm not sure. After my cupcakes came out of the oven, I let them cool. I frosted them with some chocolate frosting that I had in the pantry. Yes, canned frosting for the win. And I'm just adding some sprinkles to the top. I thought it was funny. Last time I talked about sprinkles, a bunch of you said that you didn't like them either. I said they tasted like chalk, but to each their own. So I did some with sprinkles and some without. And I just realized I didn't get a clip of the finished buffalo chicken dip because I took it right out of the oven and everyone ate it right away, but that's fine. I did garnish it with some green onion. Okay, so after the sous vide steaks were done, Adam did finish those on the grill outside. My sister brought some corn casserole and some cheesy potatoes, which was delicious. And that was our family dinner for this evening. Okay, so next up, I am going to share just a quick lunch idea, taco salad. So this is something that can be done in a variety of different ways, but I love taco salad. Like I could probably eat it every day for lunch, honestly. And beef taco meat is one of those things that I normally try to make extra of when I make tacos for dinner because you can have it in the fridge. It makes great leftovers and you can also freeze it. So always think about that when you're cooking dinner. What can I make extra of so that I can have lunch for the rest of the week? So I just have some romaine lettuce here. I'm just chopping that up and putting it into my salad spinner, and I'm going to give that a bath. I'm going to go ahead and spin my salad dry in my salad spinner. This is actually my smaller salad spinner, which I would recommend if you just have a couple people in your house, or if you have a smaller kitchen, it works just as well as the larger one. I can link it down below. I've got a big bowl here. I'm going to go ahead and add my taco meat to the bottom. I like to add my meat to the bottom when it's hot because I don't really like it to be like hot meat on top of the cold lettuce. I don't know. I just feel like it wilts it, but it's up to you how you want to do that. I added some cheese, some lettuce to the bowl. Next, I'm going to add some cherry tomatoes. This is also a great way to use up any scraps of veggies that you have laying around in your fridge. Some of my cherry tomatoes were a little bit questionable, so I had to pick out the ones that were good. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some sour cream. Another thing you can do is mix together sour cream and salsa to make kind of like a salsa ranch dressing, or you could also mix together ranch dressing and salsa and add that. It's really good too. I had some cilantro in the fridge, so I went ahead and minced that up and added it to the enjoyable. I always love cilantro in my taco salad. And that was my super quick lunch today. This turned out so good, really filling and delicious. I'm going to add some taco sauce to the top, and that is lunch. So thank you guys for coming along with me on today's video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what is for dinner and lunches this week at my house. Don't forget to check out Storyworth. I'll have all of the information in the description box below for your discount. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.